to the CFG Game Cast, episode number 136, a weekly podcast created by gamers and streamers alike to discuss the latest gaming topics from the previous week. We stream a new episode on Fridays and release it on podcast services like Apple, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Radio, and Podbean. So show us some love, give us a follow, a like, a comment, what have you on any podcast services out there, or go to our main website, confreaksgeeks.com, to not miss an episode. I am Mr. CFG Games himself, Davis Green, and with me today are my two awesome co-hosts. I got Lex in the second seat. What is going on, my cyborg?
Ooh, not so much. What did I play this week? DBD, the new killer, is out. That was interesting. I can't say what it looks like because then we might get in trouble. So, yeah, it's a female anatomy.
Is it from like a movie? I don't even know what that means either. What the heck is that? Jesus.
Female anatomy mixed with a turkey and teeth. Like, that's all I gotta say. So, anyway.
What the hell are you talking about? I still don't know.
Do you remember that whole movie where the lady had the hoot nanny with the teeth in it? Yeah.
No.
Oh, well, then you're missing out. We'll turn it into like mesh it with a turkey, but instead of the turkey's head, it's the female anatomy with teeth and spikes. It's kind of what it looks like when I'm running from it. That's what I say. It's a great mechanic. I like it. It's pretty cool, but that's what it looks like to me. Just saying. I'm so sorry. Played some more Evil Dead. Still can't beat the third mission. I'm not mad about it. You're mad about it. And yeah, this week I just kind of took it easy. I didn't stream yesterday because it's getting up to 1:10 sometimes here. And after running errands with the girls, I come home and I'm like, I need sleep now. And I fall asleep for like several hours. So that's kind of what I've been doing. Prepping myself for, this weekend because Sunday's going to be kind of rough. So yeah, that'll be fun. So that's kind of it. But you know who doesn't have female anatomy with teeth and that looks like a turkey?
Well, I was also going to say, too, that he's also... Oh, yeah, I guess so. Let's go. But no, I don't know who.
His name is the 5-star general of the Smitty Committee. He's on our third seat. What's up, Smitty?
Yo, I'm actually on the second seat. So, no, I guess you're right, huh? I'm sorry. That threw me off. I was off. I was out. I was sick. Yo, big ups to Frankie though. Thank you so much for coming on last week and filling in. I appreciate it, brother. I tried. I was there lurking. I was under heavy medication, so I was listening and I was there in spirit. But thank you so much again, Frankie, for coming on. And don't forget to check out his Freaky Eats as well. It's fantastic show that he does and something. So do that.
I forgot to ask him about what was the most disappointing one that he had because I was like the weird one I saw was when he ate the new Taco Bell wings that they did. But I was like that's just weird, man. That's just so weird.
But yeah, no, I'm feeling much better. I went through all my meds and stuff like that. I wanted to bring it up real quick too. I did end up upgrading on the 13th PlayStation. They went with their new tiered system. I was on the Essential. I ended up boosting it up to the Premium. And I'm not gonna lie, there was a lot more there than I thought. And Davis is gonna tell you how he told me so, and this and that, and how he's a better person than me.
I'm not saying any of that. I am not saying any of that. I'm saying I'm looking at the big picture. All right. I was saying that that PlayStation didn't necessarily have to go that way immediately,
right? Because
they already had a good library. I mean, their library was great with their first party stuff. So I'm just saying that now that they're allowing third party stuff with the monthly service mixed with their cloud services, they're going to catch. They're going to eventually. I think they're going to catch up, or they're going to keep pace with Microsoft. Microsoft has to have day one. They have to have it. If they don't, then they would have been screwed. They would have been screwed a long time ago because there's no first party games on that system. You could literally name the first party games on one hand on for Microsoft for an Xbox. So there you go.
Yeah, and I was very happy to see what they have. Obviously, I had been saying, I was like, oh, I don't know about their streaming stuff. Their streaming stuff was about them. I thought it was like you'd be able to stream like from your PlayStation to the PC. It was really just the PS Now stuff, which I've tried. I played this game called I can't remember. I'm a cop. It's like a kind of like a
your
narrative.
Character is a cop?
Yeah, it's kind of like a narrative. This is the police. There's a second one as well. Yeah. But there's all kinds of stuff, and I'm doing that. I'm streaming that and playing that, and I've had no issues with that. So that's been cool. Again, and we talked about this beforehand too. I think it's just a necessary step that they need to do to be able to build that infrastructure to then be able to move forward in being able to offer more and give some more value within that ecosystem. But yeah, that was cool. And I'm a person and I'm able to play games again. I couldn't do jack last week. So it's been nice to be able to play a little bit of games. I did a raid with the crews who do them here on Tuesday as well. So yeah, it's been good, man. What about yourself, brother?
Well, that's good, dude. At least you're back to your normal weird ass self.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, that's cool. Well, I mean, yeah, no, because like last week you were on your deathbed. I was like, yeah,
real dude. Yo, like I don't get like sick very often, but when I do, man, like it absolutely destroys me. And you saw it too, Donk. You were there Tuesday night, dude. Like when I came back and like. I took my temperature. I took a break and I took my temperature and it was like 101. I was like, oh shit. I was like, I should probably get off stream and take care of this. I was like, I didn't even realize that I wasn't feeling well. I had a bit of a cough the day before, but like I didn't realize and I felt the body aches. And then like it was literally 4 days straight. I had a temperature. I just slept. I had to take work off. Like I couldn't even sit in front of a computer. Like it was brutal. It's good to be back.
So you had the Mutaba virus from Outbreak. That's what you had. I mean,
damn. Yeah. How dare you say something to me like that on Juneteenth, my friend?
Whatever. We already know where that stands on your calendar. So okay. But anyways, stupid. Trying to be all coy with that.
What happened?
Oh no. No, he tried to call me out when he's done. He barely remember what today is. Okay,
that's not true, everybody.
As for me, though, I've been doing some pretty cool. Like I've been going ham as always. I've been playing a lot of. Well, I took a break on Final Fantasy a little bit, but I usually do that weekly. But I've been taking a small break on that. But I've been playing a lot of like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We got a review key a week and a half ago, so I've been playing that, and I've been trying to 100% that sucker. Then we got another game in the on the Switch right now that's currently in embargo, so I can't say anything about it. But we've been playing that a lot. So, but it's been going pretty good though from the most part, and then making some moves and things, hopefully so close to finishing up a project that I've been wanting to fully announce here for the past couple of months. So hopefully almost done with it. Once I am, I cannot wait to release it, let folks know what we're going to be doing here in the future. So definitely stay tuned on that. Yeah, so I mean that's I've just been working the midnight oil. That's basically what I've been doing this whole time, man. So, but I know y'all don't want to be talking. Wanted to know what we're talking about. Oh, well, by the way, just wondering, were you a fan of Ninja Turtles when you were younger, Smitty?
Absolutely, dude. Again, people, I'm a Leonardo fan, and you should know this. You should have assumed that because I'm also a Cyclops fan, and they are very similar to me.
They are not similar.
They absolutely are similar.
Leonardo is way more respectable than Cyclops ever is. So how dare you?
Everybody hate on them. Stop it.
No one hates on Leonardo. No one hates on Leonardo.
Raphael, then.
No, everyone loves Raph, dude. Like most people love Raphael, but like I think the least liked turtle was Donatello.
What?
I think that's what it was. I can't remember. Leonardo's always been popular. Yeah, he was a smart dude, probably because he was a nerd. I don't know, but like I thought. I'm looking at. This is by memory because someone did go through this on the thing, but I believe Donatello was the least of the four. What? See, look at that. And Does says it. Scott Summers was a terrible mutant. Yeah, I'm not saying there isn't a. Oh, right. I'm just saying that was the least of the four that they on polls is what I'm saying. But yeah,
I thought Raphael was the one that was least liked.
Everyone liked Raph because of the movie. Because when that movie came out back in the day and how much of a hothead he was, they're all like, man, this boy rocks. Besides,
he's just like me.
His ass handed to him. Yeah, exactly. He had so much blind rage and didn't know what to do with it. So there you go. But anyways, I don't. But yeah, I mean, like my favorite was Michelangelo. I like Michelangelo. I don't know why. And it's like far from what my personality ever is. let's go with that.
Carefree, having a good time was not the life.
Yeah, I know, right? That is true. You know what? I wish I do. Like, you just know that dude was a beer drinker or something. You know?
Oh yeah, dude. Had he not been, yeah. If Matt Splinter was not there, like he would have been partying hard, like. That's why I want the grown up. I don't want the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I want the mid-30 Ninja Turtles.
The mid-30s? Oh no!
I want to see what they're all about.
The one that they realized that they had at the time.
You know what I thought? Leonardo was like, if everyone's doing a group project, he got his name on it, but he didn't do none of the project. Like that's kind of how.
No, that's not Leonardo at all.
He was definitely not like Leonardo.
Yeah, no, Leonardo's the one that puts in the work. Leonardo's the one that puts in the work.
If anything, Raphael's the one. Raphael's more like the one that you just described. If anything, yeah.
Leonardo's the one that puts in that work, that takes things seriously, that does things and stuff. I'll make the hard decisions, just like Scott Summers.
Oddly enough. We're just going to ignore that last one. You know what? In post, I'm probably just going to remove it. I'm just going to remove it. Just not waste our time on it. But for the first time, I'll probably say, I know y'all want to talk about more Ninja Turtles and who was the best turtle, but we got a show to do. So let's go through the normal rig and roll that we like to do each and every week. So each of us chooses a topic of discussion within the previous, within video games from the previous week. The topic would or could be a game that happened, that was in the gaming industry or something that was or a game itself, and we don't want to talk about it amongst ourselves. We want you, the listeners or viewers on twitch.tv/CFG Games, to be a part of the conversation. So if there's something that you're wanting to chime in about what we talk about, by all means, just type it inside the chat. We would love to discuss it with you. So let's go with my topic first. So my topic is, well, as you know, this is mid-June. This is time when E3 and all the big things are usually happening. So obviously there was a void that is there right now for all these insane announcements of what gaming has in store for us for the next following year. So instead, most people have been following Summer Game Fest, which they did a little bit of announcements last week. And then now there was the companies themselves are starting to announce some certain things that are happening. So one thing that was a big announcement that happened that I hold very dear to my heart is Final Fantasy. And this is the 25th anniversary of Final Fantasy VII. Like this year is the 25th anniversary of the original Final Fantasy VII that came out, which is surprising to me. Oh, it's 25 because I think it came out in 97. So yeah, okay, 25. That makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah. So they made this. So Square Enix made a spectacle of it. They did a stream of it yesterday. Perfect length. It was 15 minutes long, and they just basically went to brass tacks on like what they were releasing about Final Fantasy VII, which is freaking awesome. I loved it. Very short, very to the point. So there's a lot of things that they have planned in store. They basically gave a roadmap of what is coming out for Final Fantasy VII for this next year. So the big one was the announcement of like, what when will part 2 of Final Fantasy VII is going to come out. They showed a little bit of it with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is going to be the second part of Final Fantasy VII Remake that happened two years ago. They are expecting a winter 2023 release of it, which in my opinion, is going to get delayed. It's going to go to 2024. I don't see they showed nothing of it. They showed a little bit of the video of them Cloud walking with Sephiroth to the first town when you get out of Midgar, which is I believe it's Calm. Yeah, it's Calm. And then they showed like the landscape and then the beginning of the flashback and stuff like that, if you remembered all that. But the big one was that Rebirth was coming. Rebirth is coming next year, so we'll see if that holds dear. But there were some other small things that they also announced, like Final Fantasy VII: The First Soldier, which is basically the battle royale game that came out on your phone, that came out on the phone services. They're doing it. They just announced the season 3 trailer that was also shown into it. Didn't really care much about it. Another phone game called Ever Crisis, which is basically like Final Fantasy VII, which is basically in the phone format, but so they had like kind of like chibi like characters inside of it, which was cute and stuff. But the big one, surprisingly, that took the show, that most people were so hyped about, was Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion, which was basically, I mean, they didn't really give a lot of information like what it's going to be, but we do know that it's going to be the direct sequel of Final Fantasy. I'm sorry, it's going to be an HD remaster of the original prequel of Final Fantasy VII. So Crisis Core was originally a game that came out on the PSP a long time ago. Like, if anything, like if you were wanting to play at the time before Final Fantasy VII Remake and all this stuff was even like a whisper in the person's mind, Crisis Core was the thing that was holding people together for the longest time, because the game was really, really good. Like a whole new system, and you played as Zack, and then you're showing like, you know, like what you were doing with Soldier and stuff, like, and so many cool things that happened during that time. So everyone was hyped about that. Even I was hyped about it, and I'm not in. People know me. Was never a fan of the original Final Fantasy VII. so I was like, okay, cool. The PSP version was a fun game. Looking forward to it to come out. And then another thing that I think most people kind of forgot, didn't notice about it. This thing is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is going to be an exclusive to the PS5. It's not going to be a PS4 PS5 mix. It's going to be solely on PS5. Finally, like what me and Frankie and I believe Smitty, even the week before that, was saying, for the longest of time, they need to stop with the PS4. Like, so now we know that they're working on just next gen. There's no middle space or anything anymore with that stuff. So I am really hyped about what they're going to do with what they're going to do. Well, the biggest one is Crisis Core is going to come at the end of this year, 2022. And then, and then apparently Rebirth is claiming it's coming out 2023. Unfortunately, I don't believe them. So what are y'all's point of views? And I know Lex, you're not really a big fan of RPGs, but does this do anything for you at all?
Okay. The only reason that obviously I'm in the gaming space, so I know what Final Fantasy is. I'm not, blind to that. The only interaction I've really had with Final Fantasy is through Kingdom Hearts. But no. I'm happy that they're not making it for PlayStation 4, because I also said that they're not giving me a reason to currently buy the PS5 because there's not enough exclusives. So I think that's the right move. I also think they should stop, punching their games down into PS4, because stop it. Just stop it. So that makes me happy. But I like Cloud. I like his character. There's just nothing that screams that I should play it. I don't know.
I did forget something real quick, Smitty. I forgot, but Final Fantasy VII Remake is now on Steam. So I would suggest that anyone who doesn't have Final Fantasy VII, the best way to play that is to get it on Steam. The reason why, you'll be able to play the expansion, which is Integrate, which has Yuffie inside of it, because they didn't put it on the PS4.
That was a lot of fun
as well. Mm-hmm. It was really good.
I also have to break up with Dust now, because he just said Claude's the worst character, and he's my favorite from the series. So
But I
I'll
also
do
see
that
that's a
after.
point.
David said, and here's the thing, and let me tell you guys, from my experience, I don't like. In all actuality, that is the only, I think, one that I even really played. So it always is memorable to me, and that is my, intro to the Final Fantasy series. I'm excited. What I'm really excited about, number one, is that they're bringing these things into this generation of games, and I have so many different opportunities now to play all the different ones. I'm really excited to play 8 because Davis swears by it. I saw somebody else today
What? No,
also
don't say
swearing.
that.
Wait, is it? Is it not you that says 8?
No, I will never say that.
Somebody
I will never say 8.
Or is it 8 or 9?
9 is the one I would swear
9.
to.
Okay. It was 9 then. It wasn't 8. I'm sorry. But I'm excited. I want to be able to go through the series, and I've played some of them, but it's something that's always meant a lot to me. For me, it was, I was on 3rd disc. My brother erased my save. I never even finished the game. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't remember half the shit that happened even in the first one. So going through this remake, number one, I know it's definitely gonna vary from what the original is. I will go back and play that original, but I'm enjoying what I'm getting from this remake. Everything about it, dude. It is fun. It is nice to play an RPG. And I don't play a lot of them, and I love them. I don't have the time a lot of times to do it and really invest my time, and because it's like reading a book for me, you know what I mean? And it's like I have to do it one at a time, and I have to, like, I want to go through. I want that adventure. That's what an RPG means to me, is I'm going through this adventure with a character, and I'm feeling some kind of ways, and things are happening, and there's twists and turns, and like that to me, you know, I love Chrono Trigger. That's one of my favorite freaking games ever, dude. You know, it's like like those games mean a lot. And so I'm really excited about this. This is a huge announcement. I'm so glad that they went and did this. This again makes me so sad for Zelda that they went through an anniversary, such a milestone. They didn't even like celebrate that ish. So it's good to see a company being like,
what milestone are you talking about for Zelda?
Zelda had their 20-year, I want to say, anniversary not too long ago, or a couple years ago.
Zelda came out in 87, I believe. I want to say 87, 80 or 86.
I don't remember. Older. They had something. I don't know what number it was.
It was the 30-year anniversary.
Was it 30? I don't even know, because there was a milestone year that happened within the last couple of years for Zelda, and there was not much of anything. I think that's when they were like, oh, we've got Wind Waker or something. I don't know, dude. And maybe that's me too. Huh?
It came out in 86. The first 86. Zelda came out in 86.
In 86? Okay.
So last year was
absolutely. Chrono Trigger is Chrono Trigger, Breath of Fire 3 are my all times. I need to go back and play them again to see if they hold up as an adult. But Kid Me very much has something that's connected that I feel towards these things and towards these IPs and these games and stuff like that. So it's like, I want to flesh out, because I understand there's a lot of different varying opinions about the games and stuff like that. And I can't really legitimately be like, oh yeah, I've played all of them, and this one for sure is the dopest. Let me have a conversation about it, because I haven't, you know what I mean? And I want to experience the whole story and all that stuff.
Yeah, but then again, though, too, like you said, you only really played one Final Fantasy, which was 7, which is fine. I'm not saying that. Most people's entryway was 7, and it's still, that's why 7 is so like, you know, held dear to everyone's heart, is because even for fans who weren't fans of RPGs or never played an RPG before, 7 opened the doorway of telling people what an RPG was back in 97, because of how nice the graphics were at its time. So and for that, I understand why it's so popular. But but at the same time, though, too, like because like that's what I mean. It didn't keep your interest with 8 or 9. It's just that you can relate to what you played for 7, except that horrible thing that your brother did to you. It'll be like, okay, there you go, you know. But then, like, but that,
I know. Really is. Trust me. 30 years later, I haven't forgiven him.
You still remember it like it's like yesterday.
I remember it though. I'll never forget.
and that's fine. I mean, overall with it, to me personally, like, I mean, since I played all the Final Fantasies, wasn't a big fan of 7's story. Except I will say this, remake was really good. I prefer remake over the original any day, though. I think that they did a fantastic job. But my only problem with that is that it's episodic. So like, it's like, because like I knew we were going to wait years for the second part, and the second part's not going to be the end of it. We're going to have to wait for a part 3 or a part 4. So who knows?
Yep. I think they'll do it as a trilogy. But that is because that's just cash it in, when back in the day we got one thing, it had 4 discs. There's the game, play it. Here it is for you. So yeah, that part, you can obviously see the corporate side of video games and that influence in that sector. But I mean, honestly, for me, and it's been so damn long too, like, it's like a brand new game, and I had so much fun playing. There were moments that I remembered, like Hell House and things like that, you know, but like, for the most part, it felt like a brand new game for me. And even the expansion, the Tifa expansion, like, dude, I enjoyed that so much. Like, I remembered her, but like, just it was kind of like getting that reintroduction. And I was just like, I wanted more. It left me wanting more. And I knew I was going to have to wait. But it's like, I'm on board. I love what they're doing with this.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll see where it's going to go. I mean, I personally think, Smitty, that you should, if you like 7 and you like 7's world, you should definitely play Crisis Core. Like, when that comes out, when it comes out in December or whatever, that should be a game that should be on your list. But and it doesn't play like how 7, even before its time, it didn't. It was.
Sure, I did play 15 too. I did beat 15 as well. Sorry, I forgot about that part.
Oh, okay.
I did.
Yeah. But like, yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah. There you go. So, but like, but no, I mean, no, it's cool. But I'm just saying that, like, but I think Crisis Core played completely different. It's not turn based than what even for its time when it came out. So you may be interested in that a little bit more. But yeah. So there you go. I mean, I think that I think this is the update that was needed to be said, which is going to be interesting because next year, I believe Final Fantasy 16 comes out, and then they're saying that's the reason. Really, the real reason why I think 7 is going to get delayed is because they're going to try to push out a little bit between the 2 Final Fantasies. In my opinion, I don't see any other way for them to do it. But yeah, but we'll see. But we'll definitely see where this is going to go. So yeah. Alrighty. Smitty.
Damn.
What are you bringing to the table?
Damn. So let me give you the abridged version. We talked about it. Obviously, the Game Fest and stuff like that, it's been going on. I kind of wanted to lock down here on what Xbox is doing. I kind of talked about it a little bit too. You know, when I was talking about the PlayStation, their tier thing and them getting in. Like right now, they really can't compare to what Game Pass is doing and what they've got planned over the next year. I felt like what we got this past Sunday, or is either this past Sunday or Sunday beforehand, with the Microsoft Bethesda drop. They basically gave us a lowdown as far as what the next year in games is going to look like for them. And man, it is looking hella spicy. I'm not going to go down all of them. Obviously, there are some that I.
Would you say spicy? Is spicy a good thing or a bad thing?
I say that in the best way. Number one, I've got a list of like almost, I don't even know, like what, 20, 30 on each side games over the next year. And again, that doesn't mean that things aren't going to get bumped or pushed or whatever. Excuse me. But like, this is the kind of showing that they need to do, number one. they're already leading the market. I will say, and officially now, I believe it's on like Samsung TVs, but you'll be able to, with Samsung TVs, you'll have the Xbox or the Microsoft cloud gaming as well, because they're looking, we talked about this here probably like a year or so ago about how they're looking to get their cloud gaming out like on TVs and be able to push it out. I'm really excited about that, especially with having Game Pass. These are 60 games over the next year that they've announced. And there are some that really, as Dust Falls, I don't even know what it is. I know Sissy Jones is a part of it. The art style of it almost reminded me of like a Life is Strange type of game, different art style, but like just that narrative and it just looked, it really, I don't know, man, like something about it spoke to me there. Obviously there's the Redfall stuff. We know that, it says I gotta put it in. I'm 18. We know that Redfall is coming as well. This is an advertisement. There's a little bit of concern for me there. We know that Redfall got pushed back. It was supposed to come out this year. It got pushed back to next year, early next year, I believe, or sometime next year. But that's the co-op kind of like almost. It reminds me of kind of like Back 4 Blood or Left 4 Dead, but with vampires. And there was something that was a little alarming. I saw some news earlier, an article about them talking about the campaign progression being tied to the host, because this is a game that's going to be more geared towards co-op and online co-op, like a Left 4 Dead. So that's kind of concerning in that fact that, like, it sounds like the host would progress campaign wise, but it doesn't sound like I don't know if the other people that are there, that their campaign would also level up, which is a major problem in a co-op game. Like, everybody's progression better be the same regardless of where they're at. You know, you have to have some sort of system. So that makes me a little nervous. But we got a little bit of gameplay of it. Nothing crazy. I don't know how I feel about this game at the moment. Story wise, it hasn't really drawn me in or anything like that, but I love a good FPS. Vampires, you can't go wrong with that. And then co-op, so you get to play with friends as well. And I'm guessing this is also going to be cross-play. So, there's a lot of pluses to that. But right now I'm kind of just like, meh. We'll see what happens. I think it's got potential, but nothing that's like, oh yeah, I gotta have this game absolutely immediately. I'm just gonna go down this list a little bit. I'm not gonna go through everything. Like I said, Hollow Knight, Silksong, Hollow Knight. If you're familiar with that series, that's a solid series. High on Life, that's Josh. What's his name? Josh Rowland or Josh Bolin? The dude, Justin Rowland. Thank you. Dude that does Rick and Morty. This is that game. I mean, it looks fun. Everything's gonna have an ad. Okay, it looks like a fun game.
Here's my problem with all of the. I mean, like, first off, Xbox's like preview thing was boring as hell in my opinion. I mean, not ragging on the system, but their presentation, it was 80 minutes of just shooting out like these all these games and stuff that was like, okay, we know that you have a giant library of games that's coming to the system. Here's the problem. All those games that you just announced were either third party or it would be so it's going to be on all platforms and it's going to be on PC. The only game that you got out of this was saying and not all of them, but most of them was going to be day one pass. It was going to be Xbox day one pass.
A lot of them,
and like, so yeah. But now, like, for me personally, on like with the presentation itself, it's great that you're getting them day one, but like at the same time, you shouldn't, like, the level of boasting that they have on the games that they don't even own is what drives me insane. And the games that they did own, because like Forza was one, like when they're showing Forza Motorsport, we've seen 7 different versions of Forza before in its past. We know that y'all do in like impeccable detail of the grass blades or the or the track and how it's supposed to look and all this stuff. Like, you can only like describe a game that you've done so many times to a point where it's like you're going to deaf ears, you know? I mean, like that's my one big beef about this whole presentation. And then I mean, like the good game, like the games that are coming out that is going to be exclusive, which is clearly showing that you're putting most of your eggs right now to Bethesda, since Bethesda's been under your IP for the longest of time, you know, under your wing the longest of time. So the games are finally coming out with Redfall, Starfield, Elder Scrolls, and stuff like that. Like Redfall, I'm not going to lie, looks very interesting. I would definitely think it's going to be a very good, it's definitely a very good catch for it. And, but see where we're going to go with. But man, like they focus like 60 minutes of just all these different like third-party games and stuff, and I was just like, they could have like listed this stuff, because most of the stuff I really like overall for me personally, I really did not care to a point where it was like, oh wow, I can't wait till this game came out. Like, was there something that came out like on that list of third-party games that you were like, oh wow, I really got to play this, you know? I mean, was there something that caught your eye during that presentation? Like, yeah, which ones? I'm legitimately asking. I'm not trying to prove a point.
Yeah, no, for me, obviously we got gameplay of Starfield, right? We said there's no way in hell that we go through this without getting something significant from Starfield. I know that there's been some concerns in terms of it, and I get it. I feel like, again, Bethesda's got a lot that they need to do in order, especially after the Fallout 76 debacle. So this reminded me of what I thought No Man's Sky was going to be, except for I know going in it's going to be a single player experience. I'm excited for it. I love space things, and I feel like though it's kind of getting overplayed. There's been a ton of like space horror games and like previews of that like throughout this whole summer game fest thing. So like I've kind of like, I feel like I've been kind of burnt out mentally on that, but this to me is kind of what I thought No Man's Sky was going to be, just not, you know, as a single player type of thing. So I'm excited, like that to me, and like any kind of space adventure like that, like I'm absolutely on board. I love the fact the character customization for me was really intriguing. I think there's a lot that could be done, and you know, I haven't gotten super deep into like, oh, you've got all these different characteristics and stuff like that. But I mean, for me, it's there. And
well, yeah, but I mean, like, man, well, first off, you say like this is what like No Man's Sky was supposed to be, but really that's what No Man's Sky is right now. It's exactly what Starfield is. I mean, like, with the it's like I was making fun of it. I was calling this game No Man's Skyrim, because essentially it's going to have the twist of like, you know, the Skyrim world building story and stuff. That's like they were going to be doing.
I've never played a Skyrim. I don't know shit about Bethesda. I played a little bit of Fallout 3. I know that they did their fans dirty on Fallout 76. I don't think I've ever played like one of their games, to be honest. And I played a little bit of that, and I know, but like I've seen, and that's the perspective that I'm coming from, is that I've seen how they've done, because I know there's a lot of people, and I've got a lot of friends that do love some of their franchises, and I felt that they did their fans so freaking dirty. It's just like, there's no way they could do it again, and I don't think that they can, because Microsoft will not allow them to. And I've been saying this shit, you know what I mean? Like, that's why it was delayed in the first place, because they said, no. What is this? Y'all need to go ahead and do something about that, checks and balances, and that's why it got delayed in the first place. We all knew it was going to get delayed anyway. That was a very ambitious release date for them. But I've got they they've got to hit a bullseye, dude. That's how I feel about this. And
Lex, you've been kind of quiet on this most of the time.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm super stoked for Redfall. I like lore, so this is right up my alley. And it's a little spoopy, so I'm excited about that. The Dust game sounds pretty cool too. Okay, as far as space games, I feel like I've reiterated this a few times. I just want a goddamn Star Trek game. Give me a goddamn Star Trek game where it's like horror based because it's the Gorn or something, like fucking wow me at this point. I don't give a shit what it is, really. Give me a goddamn Star Trek game and not a simulator. No. I want a goddamn Star Trek game. Which Adam came up with a great idea. He was like, what if The Sims was like Star Trek and you built the I was like, yay.
That would be fun.
That'd be cool. It probably will never happen.
Let's make it.
So I'm sick of Forza. Look, I'm a car gal and I don't care anymore. Like I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore. I love cars, but nope, I'm good. Some of their stuff that they presented, I saw it coming, of course, Forza, and a few other games. But at the end of the day, like Redfall is what really spoke to me. And a couple others. I'm kind of curious at what they're doing, though, because like you said, there's absolutely no exclusives, which, hey, that works for me because I'm PC. But I was a little confused by their presentation.
Starfield.
And I was bored.
But here's the thing, though.
In it.
Yeah, and this is what I think in the consensus. Dude, they could easily have done it this way. They could have easily introduced the game. Like, I'm just saying, if it was up to me on doing the presentation, Redfall, the introduction to Redfall shows you gameplay, makes people hyped for that kind of thing. Maybe 5-10 minutes of like the biggest of the third party things is going to be on day one. Then do a thing saying Xbox Game Pass, like a premiere, and then just do a small short list of like stuff that's coming to be, because 9 times out of 10, most of that stuff that they were showing were not gameplay trailers. They were just trailers.
Buddy. Come on, buddy. Trailers. You act like, but you're acting like they're not in the business commercial world as well. You got to put on a show, regardless of what you got. You have to put on whatever kind of show that you can put on, and that's all they can do. But they can't put on
minutes of that stuff.
No, and I understand what you're saying.
Too much.
And I get that, but that is all marketing time. That is all, like, I am getting my brand, what we have, regardless to these hardcore asshole gamers, because I mean, again, we are part of the demographic, absolutely. But as gaming and that culture grows and they're bringing in new audience and stuff like that, they've got to appeal to them as well. And not only that, but then you also have sponsors you got to appeal to. You've got other things that you got to appeal to. You are filling this void now as well, knowing that E3 isn't happening. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot going on, and you came in at the height of a pandemic. This dude, like, there's a lot. I feel like there's a lot of layers.
The devil's advocate, I definitely understand, but I'm just saying, is this like, dude, PlayStation, when PlayStation State of Play, they could have done the exact same thing as what Microsoft did on these games, on the third party games they did. But how long did it last? It lasted 35 minutes because of people's pacing of it.
But it takes money, though.
Hold on. I'm just saying this, but like, they still showed a lot of third party games. They still showed their points across of what they wanted for their first party games, and then they still showed enough for the balance and stuff like that. But like, I'm saying that, like, but like, for the most part on Microsoft's side in this, I'm just saying the presentation side. I'm not saying it overall. I'm saying to say that we had to wait 70 minutes just to get from the beginning of the thing to the back end of the thing to Starfield, to where they showed, like, which was the biggest thing, is a little too long. And I'm just saying, and I understand that when you're saying, when you don't have anything to advertise and stuff like that for it, if that's the case, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. There's no venue to show for it. But if you're going to pace yourself to that to make people interested, because it clearly got a lot of people bored. Because I'm not the only person that felt that way.
Yeah, no, and I'm not saying. I know, but there's so much like there's things like production wise. Trust me, dude. Like, you'd be like, nah, dude, that didn't even make sense. Like, why wouldn't you? You know what I mean? But like, a lot of the people that are putting that production on are not the ones that are saying this is whoever the producer, the EP, stuff like that. They said because like they can easily that's the person that would say, look, this only needs to be 15 minutes, and I guarantee that it would instantly get shut down because it's people above them telling them this needs to be 30 minutes, this needs to be 45 minutes, an hour, whatever.
Yeah,
fill the time.
Well, I'm just saying
time.
They should just they need to shorten it is what I'm saying, because like the big game was Redfall, good move. Forza, don't care. Starfield was the one thing that I was like, okay, looking forward to seeing it, and then I'm like, you know what, okay, whatever. But like, but in between, they just said they basically just said fill the time in between.
Overwatch 2 news as well. Don't forget, sign up for that open beta. We know it's going to be free to play, at least the PvP. I want to see more about the PvE and what's going on that stuff. I'm excited that everybody can come in, so even Donk can be my friend and play Overwatch 2 with me. I'll convince him one time. We'll figure it out.
Well,
I'm very excited about that. We got the Joker Queen coming. We've known about her through the lore. We knew it was only a matter of time. I think there was leaks here a little bit ago. I was super pumped about that. I totally forgot about the fact that I was just like, Overwatch 2. I was like, what is this? Why is there Overwatch? Yeah. I was like that like literally, you guys should have seen me. Like I was like that THQ dude in the couch getting my face blown off by the fucking sound because I wasn't expecting it.
Oh, the sound effects guy. Yeah. But still, we'll see. Yeah, I mean, like I said, like overall, we'll see. Like the thing of with Xbox, that's cool. I kind of wanted to see what your take of Starfield in your own opinion, mind, if you were really hyped about it, or like what you thought about it. With the presentation, the gameplay presentation of it, which I'm not saying I am kind of worried to see what to expect on this, because I thought this was going to be a little bit of a bigger see something different, but I mean, it is what it is in my own personal opinion. We'll see how where it's going to go.
Lex is shaking her head.
I'm not excited for it. I'm not excited for Starfield. You're not showing me anything new. Nope. Give me Star Trek. I'd rather have a Star Trek game. Thank you.
Yeah. Smitty, I know Smitty's already in on it, right?
I think the potential's there. I'm going to take a leap of faith. Even though Todd Howard, every time I see him, I'm just like, you son bitch.
I love it. I don't want to play it.
You already know my feelings.
76 players. Yeah. I know. I ain't falling for it, son.
You already know how I feel about Bethesda in general as a company, so they have a huge uphill battle for me. So we'll see where this is going to go on it. Even though I am looking forward to a new Elder Scrolls 6, whenever that comes out. But
I'm hoping Microsoft keeps them in check. I think Microsoft is going to be able to, or that's what Microsoft needs to do on their end, is be able to reel them in, because they've been mismanaging their stuff for exactly.
Forever.
Somebody needs to dial them in, because they could be there. They can, it's there. They've had it before, dude. Like, but they've lost their way for sure. Somebody needs to dial them back in. Yep.
Fair enough.
Agreed. Is it my turn now?
Okay, Lex, you asked so politely.
All right, so I'm the one with the LGBTQ reference article this month. Wow, hello, I died. Week. So there's a tactical shooter, and I know a lot of people that play this. It's called Ready or Not. I have it on my calendar to download it tonight. Now I'm not. So it's a controversial tactical shooter. Ready or Not was removed from Steam without explanation. But here's the kicker. If you guys don't remember, there was a mass shooting at a nightclub. And oh god, so it was June 12th was the anniversary of it. Pulse nightclub, 49 people were killed in Florida, 53 were wounded. It was bad, and They put it essentially in the game, and they called it Prism. They've been referencing this online, which I missed these tweets completely. Basically, they were saying that they were going to either add a nightclub shooting or a school shooting to the game. Which,
well, I'm sorry to cut you off real quick.
Yeah.
What does Ready or Not? What is the game like? What's the basis of Ready or Not? Like, what do you have to do?
So
like, what's the synopsis?
It's a tactical shooter. So you're basically infiltrating, a map and trying to stop the bad guys. Is what you're doing. And it's a multiplayer game. Sort of Call of Duty, but not really.
So was it kind of like old school Rainbow Six, where you had like, oh, you have to defuse the bomb and you have a plan and there are tactics to get
Closer,
in, to infiltrate?
More similar to that. So
okay.
Yeah, along those lines. So I didn't know that they had tweeted this out, that they were looking to add these, but it was not available on Steam. Void Interactive described the game as temporarily MIA and promised an update for players in the near future. But on a pinned discussion in the game's community page, a developer by the name of Kaminsky stated that there is an issue somewhere with Steam's backend, and it resulted in the game being taken off the store for some reason, but Ready or Not is still on the platform. Despite that, though, they've speculated it was removed because the objectionable content related to Pulse nightclub, where their nightclub in the game is called Prism, and of course they've already referenced previously, that they wanted to do a school shooting mission. Which how fucking tacky do you have to be to add that in the first place? And don't tell me that you're adding this map as like we're so sorry that you died. Here is a way for you to replay essentially the events of that night. To me, it's a
simulation. That's what that sounds like.
Insane.
Right.
Yeah.
Please. Yeah. No. Like at that point, like it's like you're playing a snuff out of your own. And that just seems absolutely ridiculous. I don't care how much you like the game. That's so insensitive. Both concepts are obviously very insensitive. But yeah, it was introduced on the anniversary of the Pulse shooting in extremely poor taste.
Was there any kind of like flack back on that from the social media on that, or?
I haven't really seen it, but I've seen a lot of articles talking about it. So clearly people are not happy about it. But, here's the thing. When people are really into a game, I think sometimes they forget how things can be brought into a game in poor taste, such as this. And I think... I have a lot of friends who are LGBTQ who were playing this game. I don't know. I have not seen them play this recently, and obviously maybe this is why, but also the game has disappeared. So did Steam take it off because of that, or was it really a back-end issue? Because I find that hard to believe. Here's the other thing. So obviously they put the map in. There's other games with objectionable content that remain on the platform. The Indie Gladiator game, whose creator slips transphobic and anti-mask screeds into the patch notes. We've talked about that. Of course, Fury Hitler is still on. So you basically play Hitler.
In this game? This is all happening in this game.
No, these are other games that I'm discussing. So
I'm sorry.
It's kind of weird that that would be so. Like, I'm devil's advocate. It would be weird that that's the reason they took it off, unless there was a lot of backlash, because there are games that are have transphobic and anti-mask.
There's some crazy
in the patch notes. But then there's also a game called Fury Hitler. So you're playing Hitler. And yes, that happened a long time ago, but that's still a touchy subject. But now you're putting a mass shooting into a simulation into a game that actually happened, and there were people that were murdered. So, you don't want to glorify
a person that's like that with that kind of situation. I totally understand,
right?
With all of this, but like for the most, I'm sorry,
it's kind of up in the air. Like, did Steam take it off because of that? Maybe, probably not though. But also Steam having a back end issue with just your game. I don't know. But rest in peace to everyone that passed away in the Pulse. Not passed away. You were murdered, and that's horrible and terrifying for the queer community. And I am so sorry. And I'm so sorry that somebody thought that this would be a great simulation to put in a game. That's all I'm saying. What do you guys think?
I just don't think that. I don't think even if it was any kind of situation of this, it's like, dude, like the certain, like when something happens as serious and as real as what happened at Pulse, or the many school shootings that we have that has occurred or something.
Are they going to call it Schmandy Hook in the game?
Yeah. Hello? You're just going to stop. Well, I mean, people should feel bad about even entertaining that kind of thought. Like, you remember, what this reminds me of? Do you remember back when Modern Warfare 2 first came out? And then there's that one scene in Modern Warfare 2 where you played the bad guy, you're mowing over, like you're at the airport and you're mowing over innocent civilians. And then people were raising a stink on that about saying, even though that didn't even happen, but like, I don't think in this day and age, like to even joke about that, it's like people will be like, you know what? No, we'll never do it. And I mean, I know how you are, Smitty. You're very, very, sensitive on subjects of a person killing a person and even in gaming. So like, it's just just imagine that they decided to say, you know what, we're going to do it. Let's do another scenario, but this time let's just do it because of what's been happening in the real world. You're wanting to escape in the fucking game, dude. You're not wanting to reenact saying, oh, this would be a cool strategy to do to stop the bad guys from killing all these kids or killing all these, or going to a nightclub, for LGBTQ, people and stuff. It's like, why would you ever think that's a good idea? Like, in my mind, like, why would you ever think this was just in poor taste. Go on, Smitty.
And 100%, this is absolutely, I feel, in poor taste. This is a topic though that I am very conflicted on. I very much in art and what people do and create. It's I can feel one way about it. That doesn't mean that that's necessarily how something is, whatever. And I do feel that there's definitely could be educational reasons for something like this. Again, maybe in a more something that's private and something that, but this is where I believe in that, but this seems like it's a mockery of the events. This is not something to learn about or be able to. This one's got me. It's got me messed up. Because again, this is not something that I would play. I personally would not want to, or even come close to trying to simulate such a horrifying experience or something even close to that. Right. But again, because I don't, doesn't mean that other people don't. And that's kind of what, and maybe people see it in whatever kind of way. Again, I feel personally that this is very disrespectful to that situation. That's like having a 9/11 simulator, which I'm sure that there's something like that exists, or any kind of tragedy or anything just terrible that has happened, and making a game of it. I feel that it is a very cheap and weak ass way to be able to either draw people in. Again, publicity, it works both ways, positive, negative. Publicity is publicity. Notoriety and that talk and marketing it works. You know what I mean? This obviously is not something that I'm interested in, but it's hard. It's just something that has me conflicted, very much so.
Do you remember when we were talking about that one game that was about that was simulating Afghanistan? You remember the Afghanistan, the war and stuff like that?
Or whatever that. Yeah. I feel the same way about that. Yes.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly the same kind of situation though on this, but the level of the uproar of it is that, you know what, and I definitely understand where you're coming from when you're saying that, like, you know, it's about depending on, like, I mean, it's like gaming is a matter of craft and art, but at the same time it does depend on who is making that said game and stuff. You know, at the very and how they're trying to interpret this for the masses and trying to do it. So like if someone has like negative connotations, like hence like the people that was inside the patch notes talking about, like, you know, wearing a mask and stuff, like, you know, trying to make it politicizing their game when there is no place to really do it, then yeah. But I mean, this thing, like, I mean, especially like, why would you want to mess with, like, you know, the polls?
I feel like it makes mockery of it.
Situation.
Right.
Yeah,
it completely makes a mockery of it.
Well, and not just that, but also school shootings is so insensitive.
Right.
I'm looking at Twitter. So I typed in Ready or Not the game just to see what Twitters were saying. Mostly people who are praising the realism of this. It's essentially a SWAT game. You're SWAT and you're interacting. Right. A bunch of chads are like, this is great. It's so realistic. All the phones ringing because the families know what's going on and they're trying to see if their friends and family are dead. Stop.
I don't know.
Stop. I mean, that takes it it takes it way too far. And then other people are saying, like, it was so toxic and it's horrible. The community itself, the devs are just trying to be fucking edgy. Pardon my language. But it's awful. And there's no reason for it to be this realistic or to touch upon these things. You know what I'm saying? And it's so it's 50-50, but apparently the community is horrible. So
it would, and it absolutely would be, but I feel like not acknowledging the fact that there are people that do enjoy this. That is inevitable, and it is a real ass thing. And I feel like it pretends like that's not a thing, and it is, because clearly people made it. People are getting this. People are saying things.
Need these maps.
I agree. And again, I agree 100%.
I like the game. I like playing the game. I will absolutely not touch these maps. I won't be playing it anymore, quite frankly, because it seems that the devs they're trying to be fucking edgelords, and I'm not into that. Like, I liked the game for what it was. What it was when it started and what it is now are pretty much two different games. And again, that's fine. I liked being SWAT. It was kind of fun. I don't want to relive the tragedy of a few of my friends getting murdered in a nightclub. Like, that's not. And I only lost a few. People lost husbands and wives and loved ones and sisters and aunties. Like, if so many people died, it's not funny. And it almost feels like they're like, haha, they died. Let's put it in. Let's put
I would say that they're.
I agree. Gross. I agree, but at the same time, I feel like that opens up other doors, though, to then say that you can't talk about this, but you can talk about that. You can't feel that way or do that, but you can do that. And I feel like that works. I know that's not what you mean, but it opens up that door for that. And
we can
that's the big thing
about it, but it doesn't need to be in the game.
But that's what I'm saying, though, because you doesn't mean that, because then that leads to other things as well, because this makes you or makes somebody uncomfortable, you know what I mean, or whatever. I don't approve of that. Doesn't mean that there's not people that, and who am I to, again, obviously there's going to be people that are like that very much they are particularly for that reason. Yes. But I don't feel that if we get into generalities like that, then you can make other generalizations about other things. And I think that makes the world worse.
Right. No, I get what you're saying. I'm just, here's my issue with it. Like, you could have done it based off of a situation of events, but not made it as detailed to the exact events. Okay,
but 100% agree with you. I 100%. I am not disagreeing with anything.
Add those specific details and that nightclub,
that was intentional.
Layout, right? It was intentional. Right. Also, the people that are like, "But why are you mad? Is it because you're an F slur? Oh, you're mad because you're an F slur in the threads." I feel like that's just feeding into like a homophobic you know, I don't know, just a thought.
No, and I very much agree with you. This is why things like this are very conflicting for me because I am in 100% the same boat, but at the same time I also have that like, well, if you say it that way, then that essentially or is saying that, well, you can't say that. You have to believe in this, whatever side or whichever way a person feels. Exactly. It's like, I feel like a person, regardless whether I like it or not, you are free to be able to say or feel anything you do. And I very much believe in that, whether I believe in it or not. And I will say against it. But I still believe a person has the freedom and the right to be able to believe in whatever they want to.
And that's fine. But again, and Dust said it very eloquently, when you have the entire universe of possible content to come up with, and you go with the lower common denominator option of recreating a real world event, it screams you're a talentless hack.
Yeah, no, nobody's debating that they are pieces of shit.
Yeah, no one is. Yeah, no one is absolutely debating. Yeah, we're not arguing. Okay, I think the thing is the fact that we're unanimously agreeing that this is in poor taste. Okay, but then at the same time, I guess the break is that like Smitty's thing is like saying, you know, you do still have the right to your own opinion. Of, you know, when the devs wanted to create this scenario, even as low taste, as tacky, as horrifying and stuff as it is, they can do it because it's their personal choice. They could be like, they are definitely a-holes on doing it. No one is debating on saying it on the Switch, because like I know for this, in this case, yeah, this is a deal breaker for me. I would sure I'll never play this again for this. But to say that it's out there, they're really like, look, but look, exactly what Kit Sanders is saying, but you aren't free from the consequences of what you say or do.
And this is my point.
And then that's the point. It's like, so y'all are both kind of equally talking about the whole deal towards it, because like, even if the case is like, you know what, let them do that. You know what, to be honest with you, to be free to do that, I would rather do that. So you know how much of a dick they are.
Then so you know. You know. There's no hiding behind anything. I know exactly who you are.
Yeah, they're going to shoot themselves in of the foot at this point. The people or the masses on Twitter, it doesn't represent the masses of people playing the game, because that's how it's usually going to be. So like, I think overall, you know what, if you're wanting to show all the cards in your deck and of like how much like you're wanting to go with that line, by all means do it. But the future, keep in mind, it's the consequences of your actions is going to show like either a slowdown, a drop, or something, because like it's gonna be too much. Because like it's gonna like, I mean, shit, dude, I don't even
anybody would want to play something like this anyway.
Would do that,
or any kind of real life scenario. Personally, for me, it's like, nah, dude, that's not for me.
I mean, this hits home. I mean, this hits home a lot. Like, I mean, like with all the stuff that's happened. I mean, with all the stuff that's happened,
it's unbelievable to me that somebody actually did that. It is, and again, I'm not. I agree, and I am on. I believe the same way that you do as well, Lex. But at the same time, too, for me, it's like, I feel that, however, if people want to, like, unless
they have the conversation on the table,
actively harming people and stuff like that, and it does. I'm not saying it does not harm people, because obviously the people that are I feel doing, playing things like that or whatever, that's a whole nother thing.
Because you can't, no one can tell them otherwise, to be like, this is the way you should have done your game. Right. Instead on that, if they wanted to do it this way, if they wanted to show off like, hey, this is what we wanted it to be like, and then they do show it off, and then they should not be surprised about people being pissed off about it. I mean,
I'd love to have like somebody that was a part of that team on the show or something like that, to be able to have a conversation like that. Hey, what was going on behind the scenes? How did you guys feel about it? And things like that. Cause I think that's important to know as well. Moving forward, because that's probably a whole nother story.
Well, I guess like it comes after like a wave of, we had a lot of pastors this week one in particular basically saying that it's Pride Month and we should line all of the queer people up and murder them and shoot them in the back of the head. And then I see this, I'm like, oh, cool. So we're just perpetuating this like hate everything that's not like us kind of mentality. And that kind of irks me a bit. But yeah, I'm not happy about it.
I think from all of this, from whatever the scenario is, I don't get all that myself of what they're trying to do with it. I just think it's just poor taste of because I don't think they're saying we're wanting you to slander, like to try to get because you're the police officer, you're the police trying to prevent it. So I'm assuming that that's what their goal is trying to do, is like trying to be like, okay, we're going to try to prevent a situation of it. But I don't know. But like I'm just
people marketing wise, whether good or bad, having that kind of marketing, it's going to make people look at it, possibly purchase it, see what it's about, and stuff like that too. So it could very much be an intentional thing that they were doing, because it seems, again, to me, from my perspective, it feels very much like a mockery of all that stuff. I'd love to have a conversation with somebody on that team, like, yo,
reach out. Is this all about? Be like, let's just reach out and see. It's like, hey, welcome to the show. Okay, our first question. Why? Jesus. Okay.
Well,
no, that's a pretty. Oh, I'm sorry.
Real quick, Kit said, I think the families should sue as someone profiting off the murder of their relatives and loved ones should absolutely be punished directly in a financial aspect. I don't disagree.
To be honest with you, though, if they're going to change, if they change the title of it. If they're going to change the name of the all they need to do is change the name just enough to be like, okay, this is this and this, and then then change the name and then not label the things. Though, I just think it would be a frivolous lawsuit at that point.
Yeah,
because like it'll be hard.
It's named Prism, but the layout is the same as the nightclub, so it's a real.
That's a little extreme.
Oh yeah, no. When you breach the doors, the phones of these people who are dead on the ground are ringing, and then the people that are alive, you can accidentally also shoot them. So it's very much not just I'm trying to stop the bad guy, but serious. I could also kill innocents. So it's a whole Nope.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Well, yeah, like I said, I think it's a good idea to see if maybe just try to reach out and see what's up, because that's a little.
You'll just have to permanently mute my mic for that. I'll sit here and just.
You gotta have it open. To be honest with you gotta have maybe they do have a thing towards it.
No, I would stay professional. I'm joking, but a part of me wants to sit here muted and just mean mug while you all ask questions. So.
I'll be like, oh, okay. It's like, there you go. Oh my God, that was a crazy subject to stop on. Oh, Jesus.
I should have gone first. Sorry.
You should have. That was on me if that's the case. But damn. But folks, this was episode 136 of the CFG Game Cast. Thank you for being a part of the conversation as always. We will be back again next week with some more awesome topics that we could all discuss and talk about. But if you did miss this episode, that is perfectly fine. We release it on all podcast services at the beginning of each and every week. So there is absolutely no reason to miss out on our sexy voices.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, or if you just wanted to check out some awesome cool stuff that we like to post about, go check our main website, confreaksandgeeks.com, to see all the amazing stuff that we are doing for that week. This week I was trying to release the interview for Johnny Cage this week, this Friday today, but we got to postpone it until next week. So it was actually a really cool conversation. So, but definitely stay tuned on that one. But guys, this is Davis, Lex, and Smitty signing off. Y'all take it easy.
Bye.